Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
In a country where young people make up most of the population, it is clear that Nigeria's future depends on their ability to speak up, organize, and act. While many face the daily frustration of unemployment, insecurity, poor governance, and limited opportunities, a growing number are refusing to stay silent. They are turning their frustration into advocacy and their ideas into solutions, holding leaders accountable, building community-led responses, and demanding a country that works for everyone. It's another beautiful episode on your favorite primetime show, Ways. My name remains Osayiwa Mesale, and today we're discussing youth advocacy in Nigeria, and we're saying that the change begins with us. Now remember, Ways is all about you. You are the wine Ways, so be a part of the conversation every single day. You can also add your voice to the discussion. Please head on to our YouTube channel. It's at Official Upgrade TV. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, invite your families and friends to watch and join the conversation right now. And when I open the phone lines, I'll really love to hear your thoughts on this. Please, as always, let me allow you ponder on my quote for the day. It says, "To be an activist is to speak. To be an advocate is to listen. Society can't move forward without both." And this was from Eva Mary Lewis. Now, we'll delve into the conversation around youth and how the change begins with us much later. But first, let me run off on a break. When I come back, I'll let you in on what I found as my news interest for the day. Stay with me. All right, I'm going to start the story. So I saw a letter going around social media, and I was saying, okay, this is the first in Nigeria. So there was a letter. So there had been an appointment. The president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had appointed the former military head of state, what's his name, Muhammadu Babangida, the son of Babangida, to be the BOA, that's the Bank of Agriculture chairman. So there was a report that that he declined. Now, according to this report, there was a letter that says, "I wish to express my sincere gratitude for honor of being considered and appointed as chairman of the Bank of Agriculture. It is with true privilege to be thought worthy of such strategic role in advancing the nation's cultural and economic development. After careful reflection and consultation, I have decided, with utmost respect, to decline the appointment. This decision was not made lightly. It stems from a convergence of personal and professional consideration, which at this time would not allow me to serve with the level of focus and commitment the position rightly demands. Your Excellency, I remain fully committed to the vision of your prosperous and self-sufficient Nigeria under your leadership. I continue to hold the administration in the highest regard and stand ready to support national development in other ways where my expertise may be of service. Thank you once again for your confidence in me, and I am deeply appreciative. And this was signed from Muhammad Babangida, only for us to see another communique. Right? The communique states that Babangida debunks alleged rejection of the BOA chairmanship, and he thanks our president. So, as I said, he's the son of the former president, Ibrahim Babangida. He debunked the report which claimed that he had rejected his appointment as board of chairman of the Bank of Agriculture. Babangida was reported to have turned down the report, as I said, in this letter went round. It was viral. We were even saying that, so finally a Nigerian can, you can reject appointments. So all of that did not happen. So in a press statement that was released, today, Babangida dismissed that rejection as false and malicious, and that the reports that is circulating online is false and malicious, and that suggested that he rejected the appointment. He also described such claim as a deliberate attempt to mislead the public and tarnish the image of the Tinubu's administration. He also officially accepted his appointment as Bank of Agriculture chairman, expressing deep gratitude to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for trust that he reposed in him. It further assured the public that those behind the fake report will be identified and held accountable. The statement concluded with a call for Nigerians to remain discerning and to verify information from credible sources. Okay. So this is the Nigerian that we know. It is hard for us to see Nigerians that they will give an appointment and they will turn it down. So when it happened, that's why it went viral so quickly. People were saying, hey, so they still... Now he did not debunk it. So in case you did not know, now you know. So I'll move on to my next story. I just had to be dramatic because the thing was so funny to me when I said, so there's a Nigerian that can't, a president will appoint and he will say, no, I can't do it because of my other commitments. When I now saw I said, hey, this is the Nigerian that we know now. This is the typical Nigerian that we know. But let me move on to my next story. Okay, so the social media... internet, the person that has been calling out most fraudulent companies, especially real estate companies in Nigeria. He's been calling them out on social media. He's been very, very strong on advocating for people that have been defrauded, especially within the real estate sector. His name is Scotty Guma. So he's been granted bail, 10 million naira bail. And Justice Friday Ohazi of the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos had granted him bail and he was accused of posting a false video and threats to life. Justice Ohazi, while ruling on Iguma's bail application, held that he is satisfied and therefore admitted the defendant to bail in the sum of 10 million naira with one surety in like sum, and the judge ordered that the surety must present documents to prove ownership of property within the jurisdiction of the court, and in the alternative, the surety must be a civil servant, either with federal or Lagos state government, with not less than the rank of a grade 12. And must show evidence of tax payment. In furtherance of the bail, the judge ordered that the parties in the suit, the normal complainant and the defendant, to refrain from making comments on the case as the matter is already in court. He was arraigned on a 4-count charge bordering on posting a false video and causing threat to life, contrary to Section 24, 1 subsection B, and punishable under Section 24, 2 subsection 2, right, of the Cyber Crimes Prohibition Prevention Act as amended. He prayed the court to restrain the defense to stop posting on his social media handles details of the nominal complaint, and both parties should restrain from further posting. Yeah. So, I don't know. Alieke, in response, prayed that the court also restrain the petitioner from speaking on television and circulating press items to bloggers. Because, the real estate company also, in case you did not know them, there's been a lot of posting on social media as well on their own end. It is well. I just want to say that this issue around real estate fraud in Nigeria is a big issue, and I'm really hoping that the government will step in, and let's be very clear on cleaning up that space. It's really, really horrible what is going on. People have paid for land. Some people have even, they've just said, you can take the land. I'm no longer interested in this. That's what a lot of people, because what they've done is they will successfully frustrate the person, and to the extent where the person will just forfeit and say, I'm not interested in this anymore. How does that make sense? How do we move forward in this country? And how is the government, really focused on cleaning up this space? I feel like some of these things, is important that everything is considered before certain actions are taken. Nobody would just go out on social media and say they want to call anybody out if they don't have, a what's it called, an experience with them. It is impossible. Well, hey, who am I? Let's move on to the final story that has been trending all over social media as well. So, as you all know, amid rain, some retired police officers on Monday today staged a protest at the entrance gate of the National Assembly in Abuja. The protesters are demanding their removal from the contributory pension scheme. Now, the demonstrators, comprising elderly ex-police personnel, held placards and chanted solidarity songs as they stood in the rain, insisting that their welfare and dignity had been neglected for too long. Speaking during the protest, a retired chief superintendent of the police, CSP Manil Lawal, retired, called on the government to exit police retirees from the pension scheme, which he described as exploitative and unjust. Despite rain, and those retirees stood really firm, vowing not to leave until their concerns were addressed by the leadership of the National Assembly. Now, security operatives were seen monitoring the protests to prevent any breakdown of law and order. When I saw this protest online today, it just brought me back to October 2020, when the NSAS protesters, went out on the streets to protest. And, one of the demands was very clear: police welfare. I mean, it is really a no-brainer. If you do not treat these people well, how do you expect them to treat the citizens well? It's a complete circle, right? And, when I heard about what some of them are being paid is just ridiculous. Then now, the pension scheme in Nigeria, I don't know if it is really structured to really take care of people, especially pension within government government parastatals, because I know some people that are in private sector that when they retired and they started taking it was easy for them to be able to access their pension. It's a lot of documents and paperwork, I won't lie, but it's still easy for you to access it. But you see all this pension that has to do with government parastatals and government work, I don't know how. My grandfather used to complain so bitterly about those pension, and how do you expect old people to go and queue? And it's just like, it's ridiculous. Until we learn how to treat our senior citizens properly, right? What we do is that when we treat them with dignity, we treat them justly, we treat them fairly, we treat them with respect and all of that. What you're doing is that you are setting the precedence for the younger ones that are coming to say, okay, yes, when I get older, I'll also be taken care of. A lot of people that steal today is because they are trying to gather their pension for the future. I mean, it's not a justification for stealing, but I'm just saying that there's just so many things that is going wrong, within anything called government pension in this country. And a lot of people are feeding fat on other people's blood, tears, and sweat, and it doesn't make any sense. When I saw the protests today, it just took me back to 2020. This is why people went on the streets. And for police officers, I hope people are seeing, when Nigerians are coming out to fight for you people, please be clear to know that we're not fighting you. We are fighting on your behalf. And the only way the government can listen is if we have more people, like we have a lot of people going out and speaking in one voice, demanding for one thing. I'll take a break. When I come back from that break, let's continue our conversation around youth advocacy. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Hi, thanks for staying tuned. Now, as a way to remind us, remember we partnered with Enough is Enough Nigeria this year to bring impactful and conscious conversation on civic engagement, youth participation, leadership governance. I mean, everything within that entire sphere of, what's it called? Just the citizen, the office of the citizen. So Enough is Enough Nigeria's one person, they call it the hashtag one person campaign. They continue to spotlight individuals who are driving this kinds of impact, around those sectors. And of course, in May of 2025, they celebrated Sarah Kuponi, right? She's a passionate advocate for menstrual health and adolescence development through a Laura usable pad, right, reusable pad, and a well-informed adolescent initiative. Sarah is creating safe spaces for girls, challenging period stigma, and restoring dignity to communities that are often ignored. And her work is proof that youth advocacy is not about waiting for permission. It's about recognizing the urgency and, of course, rising to meet it. And she's joined us via Zoom this evening. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Okay, so tonight we want to touch on youth advocacy in Nigeria and, of course, how this change begins with all of us. Imagine all of us, contributing our own quota to the larger problem, right? And just picking one arm of that problem, solving it. I think, the impact would be a lot more if everybody contributed their own quota to some of the challenges that we face. So, I mean, in creating awareness and sparking this dialogue, right, a lot of young people today are using various means, storytelling, digital tools, their social media handles, peer engagements. They continue to do all of these things to amplify the underrepresented and, of course, and the issues that surrounds us as people, right? Be it poverty. I mean, I touched a little bit on police brutality and just so many things. And these, voices continues to disrupt status quo and, of course, inspire broader participation. I touched a little bit on Scotty Guma. As far as I am concerned, he is using social media as a digital tool to advocate for people that are being defrauded within the real estate sector. The likes of Tunde Ednot, for instance, he uses his page intentionally, to promote good things, things around what good leadership should look like, who are the kind of people we should start to focus on and advocate for. So the list is endless. Now imagine if my good friend, what's his name, Randy Peter also uses his page to speak to issues directly around electoral reforms, the National Assembly, and the things that young people we need to focus on if we truly want to see that change. So in your own case, what inspired this voice that you decided to touch on that is very, very, overlooked so many times. A lot of people don't understand what women go through. And it's even worse when you are poor or you're living in poverty and you do not even have the basic amenities to be able to even take good care of your personal hygiene. So what inspired your voice, in that sector?
Thank you very much. For me, youth advocacy began as a personal burden. My own lived experience growing up as a young girl also contributed to what has inspired or motivated me. Growing up in Nigeria, in a society with a culture of silence and shame when it comes to health for young people. So it's really, really difficult having access to menstrual health and hygiene information. But where it all started from was when I was posted for National Youth Service in 2018. So I was posted to Cross River State, and then my PPA was in a very hard to reach community in Yala local government area. That's the northern part of Cross River State. And then when I got there, um I realized mingling in the community, I saw like high rates of teenage pregnancy, high rates of young girls dropping out of school. It was so rampant. I know stuff like this existed in Lagos, but over there, it was literally as if young girls were not going to school at all. Like they were really, really having like using childbirth as like as a form of achievement, like as young as 13 years old already have children. So that kind of inspired me. Also being a peer health educator already at that time. So that was where it all started from. So because I felt like these girls were supposed to be in school. They're supposed to have access to information that they needed to make informed decisions for their own life and for their future. Because for young girls like that who are not able to go to school, there's no how they'll be able to be empowered or be able to break the circle of poverty for themselves. And that also makes them at risk of different things like gender-based violence, not having access to awareness about their health, so many things. So that was where it all started from. So seeing like a need in my community and rising up to the occasion to address that need using the resources I have, which then was my knowledge as a peer health educator to start doing something. So that was where it started from.
Interesting, interesting. And I love the fact that you kind of understand it clearly, because I think a lot of us young people, we see a problem, instead of trying to find solution, we go on social media and talk about the problem. Now imagine if you went on social media and say, can you imagine all these girls getting pregnant? Can you imagine all this, but you didn't do that. You decided to take action, and thank God for your training. I did
Yeah.
something in 2017 as well, where how people are complaining, oh, that every child now wants to become an entertainer, you want to be a big brother, and all of that, and nobody wants to really toe the line of academics or education anymore. So I kept on asking myself, why is this so? So it then brought it dawned on me that when you go to events where they are entertainment events, and maybe a music competition and all of that, you see the way the star prize is like, maybe you're giving very grand prizes, cars, this. You go for American Idol, Nigerian Idol, you get a car, you get a this. But if you go for a chess competition, or you go for a Scrabble competition or a spelling bee, it's a handshake. They'll give you one exercise book and some kind of goodie bags and all of that. So that was what informed my decision in 2017 to set up Nigeria's biggest board game tournament, right? And by the time I did that, and what I said was just simple: come and test your intellect. Let's reward your intellect, right? And all of that. And it was the first time in the history of board games or whatever that you would see gifts like cash. They were giving laptops, they were giving tablets, they were giving cash prizes as a seed fund towards their school fees. And trust me, the impact was phenomenal. But unfortunately, something, that kept on hitting, because everything that I did was personal funding. And we didn't even use cheap event centers. We wanted to make it a world-class gaming tournament. But guess what? By the time you go in front of investors, or what's it called? The corporate social responsibility desk, or the PR desk, or the commercial desk of brand desks of different corporate organizations. They will tell you, there's no ROI, there's no this. But they were very quick to sponsor a Davido concert, for instance. They were very quick to sponsor a Wizkid concert. So I say all this story to ask, right? How has it been like in terms of support? Because again, some of these initiatives, you have the heart for it, but if the finance is not there, it's also a very big struggle. It's a very big struggle because you feel helpless. At some point, because I was setting up another, profit-making company, I had to rest that event, and it breaks my heart because I really want to bring it back. But it is a lot of money. I know how much it takes from my pocket every single year that I organized it, for the years that I did. But I've had great, amazing chess players stem from that event. People started employing coaches. People started doing all sorts of things. Children were more conscious about exercising their mental capacity, and that was the goal. So tell me, how has it been like in terms of getting the support that you need when it comes to this kinds of initiative, especially yours that has to do with something that a lot of people truly overlook?
Yeah, it's been a big one. Yeah, it's quite challenging assessing support in terms of funding. I remember when I started in 2018, like I said, it was just, for me, it started with that addressing the needs. So I didn't even look at the money. I started by making use of the community town hall. On Fridays, I just gather girls around and boys and talk to them about their health, and then signpost the ones that needed services to the clinic, maybe to get services that they need in the clinic, signpost and encourage those ones that needed to go back to school. Then it all started from there. And what I did was that I started documenting what I was doing. So I documented them, and that also was enabled me to get recommended by the time I was rounding up my NYC in 2019 at the state level in Cross River State. So I continued documenting my journey. So everyone started knowing that this is, Sarah is passionate about this, about young girls, about adolescents, both young girls and young boys. And then support started coming from friends, from family, from mentors. So I also work in the development space. For me, so that also in terms of also helped give me some ways on how to navigate it. But yeah, the challenge is there when it comes to resources. But how I've been able to do it is that I document what I do and I put it out there, and then we also use it to apply for grant opportunities. And there have been such stories about the work I'm doing, the evidence are there. So that really, really also has been helping. Although it's not as if it is easy, but those are the ways I've been able to navigate it through support from friends, mentors, people who are passionate about seeing that, or they are also interested in this, so they donate as well. But yeah, what I do is to ensure I document what I'm doing and I put it out there in the face of everyone, write about it, talk about it. It's really, really hard, right? Finished we just finished the first ever menstrual health hygiene management summit in Nigeria, like the first of its kind, like a national platform conference that is dedicated on menstrual health and hygiene. And I tell you, it took us more than 6 months to get that, and it took us a lot to even get the government support, because it's a national summit and we have to work hand in hand with the government. So it took us a lot for us to get there, to be able to get the government support, to get the partner support. But what I always tell young people is that not to give up. When they know the reason why they do something, irrespective of the challenges they will encounter, they just find a way to do it. So there are lots of challenges there in terms of the resources, in terms of visibility, but not giving up, and then seeking advice from those who've gone ahead of you has always helped. And like I mentioned earlier, documenting and sharing what you're doing also helps. Yeah.
Let me first of all congratulate you. You said the first menstrual health summit
Yeah, Menstrual Health and Hygiene Management Summit in Nigeria.
Menstrual
Yeah.
Health and Hygiene Management Summit ever in Nigeria. Congratulations. That's amazing. So where was
Thank
it
you.
held?
It's held in Abuja
Okay.
and in partnership with Ministry of Women Affairs and
Awesome.
other development partners and the
Awesome.
UN
Awesome.
agencies as well. Yeah.
That's the way to go. Thank you so much. Because I was just going to ask you that, you know what? Because through innovations and activism, a lot of youth-led organizations, they often step in where government systems fail. So what was the gap that you noticed within the government system? Is it an advocacy thing? Is it an orientation thing? Or what exactly is it? Is it healthcare? Or what is the main gap you have seen, within the government organizations, and you are now trying to now bridge in that underserved community or population?
Okay, for the challenges we have in the community that has been identified when it comes to menstrual health, as well as young people having access to sexual reproductive health services, is first access to the education, to menstrual health education, and then access to the services. It's usually difficult. Most times, CSOs we go to school to provide this education to them in the school, or we leverage community network. So we're pushing, advocating for policies. So part of what the summit addressed was to have a standalone, which the ministry is already working on with support of other partners. They're working on it, hopefully to be launched soon, is to have a standalone menstrual health policy. So I believe this will also go a long way to serve as a framework to help demand for menstrual health provisions. So this will include like provision of menstrual products in secondary school, in government schools for young girls. So that would help to reduce school absenteeism due to lack of access to sanitary products. So another one is working together with the government is also pushing for youth-friendly services when it comes to sexual reproductive health services. And that has also gone a long way in having having the government to understand that there is need for policies that covers these aspects, or there is need for training our health providers for them to be able to have youth-friendly services so that young people can be able to walk into the clinic to share their issues and be able to get like services that they need for their health.
Okay. I was just going to say that in case you want to have any event in Lagos, I used to volunteer with the Real Woman Foundation, and one of the key things we used to do, we had about 5 or 6 courses we took. One was on personal hygiene. So apart from teaching the girls how to take care of themselves personally, we also used to take sanitary pads. We, as the volunteers, we used to contribute money to buy a lot of sanitary pads, until I started speaking to a few friends of mine as well that worked in the sanitary pad manufacturing companies, and they started adding to whatever our funds could buy. We were able to distribute a good number of parts. So, I mean, this is a collaborative work. So in case you want to do anything in Lagos,
Yeah.
we're very open to partnering with you as well to see how we can, reach more lives. But let's go on a short break. When we come back from that break, we'll continue the conversation. And of course, I still have Sarah with me. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having an amazing conversation with Sarah. We have so much to touch on, but unfortunately, we're gisting and we're forgetting that we have a lot to touch on. But yes, it's youth advocacy in Nigeria and how the change begins with us. Sarah is doing an amazing job. I am playing my own part here, and I know that you're watching at home, you can also play your part. So if you are doing something and you want to be a part of this, or you also have something you're doing that you would like for us to amplify, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also call our numbers 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. Those are the numbers to call. It'll be interesting to hear what you have to say. So, Sarah, before we went on a break, right, I just remembered that I attended what's it called, an all-female, you know how we go for all these grant engagement summits and all of that, and one of the ladies there, she used to create pads with charcoal. That was her material. She used to create these reusable pads, and you could wash it and you could use it for. I mean, the pads were quite durable, and you could use it for a very long time. Her own mission is also, I just forget the name of the pad now. Apologies, but her own mission is as well hitting. Hers was going to IDP camps. So tell us a bit about Alora reusable pads, and how you started that and how far you've gone with it.
A lot of reusable pad. So like I mentioned previously, what I do also spur from my personal lived experience, as a young girl growing up in a poor home where, you just have enough for food. You don't even want to bother your parents for other stuff because you know that they've tried enough. So you don't even want to ask them because so you just have to find a way to manage your stuff yourself. So that was the kind of upbringing I had. So it's part of what's for me. So when I started the program in Cross River State, and then it started getting bigger. I was doing it as a project, but then it got bigger to become to become a non-profit organization. I also usually teach young girls about their menstrual health, about their body. Also talk to boys about how they can support the females rather than shame them. Maybe if their body gets stains in school. And then I also teach girls how to use clothes they could find around them, like to teach them how to make their own homemade pads. Our grandmothers used clothes then as a form of observing their period, but there've been some form of these joints now in this generation, and people think maybe it's not possible or hygienic to use cotton fabrics to observe your period, but it can be healthy depending on the user or how hygienic the user is. So I usually teach girls on that. Then in 2020, I started it as a social enterprise where we now manufacture it. And then in 2021, our product got NAFDAC approved. And so we work with non-for-profit organization where we manufacture the reusable pads using cotton fibers, and then we partner with NGOs for their project that they want to do anywhere across the country. So the social enterprise has also been a form of employing people, employing youths and young women and young men. Also, that's a form of economic empowerment. And then we've been doing that from 2021 to date. So far, we've produced more than 20,000 reusable menstrual products, and we've worked with a couple of different non-profit organizations, couple of state governments and ministries of women affairs as well. Few states, as well as the Ministry of Education. So for us, it's more than just producing reusable pads. It's about ensuring that young girls are able to observe their menstruation in a dignified manner. And then there is also equity when it comes to access. So that has always been my desire and goal. And so that's what I've been doing.
And I think it's a laudable one. So tell us a little bit about the kinds of policy that you think can help to make your work easy. Because one of the things that we always talk about sometimes is the fact that some policies are not aligned, and it makes it a lot tougher for people to be able to even engage and even provide some form of solutions, to some of the challenges that we face. So within your space there, right, what do you think are policies that are practical that would just make life easy for these young girls?
Yeah, thank you for that question. We we keep saying that young people need to do things, or everyone in the community or as a citizens need to do things, which is something we always advocate for or encourage everybody to do. Like, look within yourself, look within your community or your corner and try to solve a problem, which is good. But then systemic change can only happen at the government level or at the national level. Citizens, individual can do what they can do in a bit, or the systemic change that we really, really need, we need the government's involvement. So for the government, what they can do is to create enabling environment for young people doing businesses in Nigeria to be able to strive. We need lots of infrastructure to enable business thrive in the country. Like, young people are really trying, and I think the government needs to put measures in place to support these young people. And then when they finally create these measures or this platform, it shouldn't be about tokenism. It shouldn't be about just putting it there that someone or a young person is getting the support. It should be like a support that can be accessible to any young person based on what they are doing, maybe merit based. So that is another thing. I think the government needs to provide some form of support for young people running businesses in Nigeria. Another one is to create enabling environments, like I mentioned, which goes in form of the support. For the space where I find myself, reusable parts now in the development space, we're creating or pushing for it as a form of sustainable means to address period poverty. It is quite sustainable because when a young girl have access to reusable products, either the reusable pads or the menstrual cups or the menstrual discs, something they can use over and over and over, it makes them to be able to save costs rather than getting monthly products to use every month, which they can't afford in the first place, and that makes them to not be able to observe their menstruation in a dignified manner. So when they have the options where they can reuse, it gives them that opportunity. So reusable products is a new niche in West Africa, Nigeria too, as well. So I think our government needs to step up in form of working with international bodies to create standardizations for our products. We have our counterparts in the other region, like East Africa, already doing this. They have like their country level standardization. So it's also an advocacy call that I'm making, that our government needs to look into this and support the international bodies, because right now the global bodies, through the support of some UN agencies, they are working on global standardization of reusable products, and Nigeria being part of them will go a long way to also help in ensuring that whatever standard is being designed, we'll have our contribution to it so that we are able to contextualize it to our own needs. And lastly, like I said, our government really needs to create supportive measures. Young people are really trying. They're doing their bits, to be honest. They just need that support. So we need that supportive measures. Yeah.
I just wanted to touch a little bit on skills because you mentioned that you provide job opportunities for these people. The skill, what's it called? You train them in making, right? Can you just touch a little bit on how sustainable those skill trainings are for them, and what is the real impact that is really bringing to them?
Okay, so for those that we train on how to make homemade products themselves, like to look at the materials around them that they can use, it provides them with that empowerment for them to be able to, in a situation where they don't have any money, they can be able to look at around them the kind of materials they can use that would be hygienic for them to make their own pads for themselves and be able to, use it and observe their period in a dignified manner. So sometimes they stay back away from school because they don't have sanitary products. So in that situation where they are empowered with that kind of skills, it take away schools absenteeism. It also empowered them to know how to, have hygienic information. You're surprised that some of girls don't know what their period is all about, the fact that they need to change their sanitary towels maybe every 6 hours, or the fact that they need to take their baths, they need to observe some hygienic measures when they are on their period. So those are the skills that will give them, the life skills that will provide for them, and it really, really goes a long way to help them,
Oh, okay. So
because
I was
when you
thinking.
empower.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was more on, for instance, the ones that are struggling financially, like unemployment, right? I thought the skills are the ones that actually help them in, like providing real job opportunities for them. But that's not what
Yeah, so
what. Go ahead.
yeah, so we have that. We have that. So for the one that we manufacture, so we
Yeah.
have like different phases of our of what we do. So we have like the one we train girls through some non-for-profit organization. We partner with them to train them how to make homemade reusable parts. And then we have the one that we manufacture. So we have like staffs that are employed, tailors that are employed, people that work as comms, as distributors. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was just thinking the girls that are making the homemade reusable part, are they able to sell it? Are they able to make profit from it? Are they able to also
No,
help in
so they
support?
make it for themselves.
Okay, they just make for themselves.
Yeah, so for that one is for them to make it for themselves. So they're able
Mm.
to use it for themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a way to call to action, right, it's important that we identify issues in our communities and advocate for change, whether through a social media campaign, volunteer group you can join, Sarah as well, or anything. You can actually just use your voice and share, in the overall solution to some of the challenges that we face. And you also partner. I said partner with people like Sarah, if that's your calling,
Yeah.
partner with mentors, partner with different people, and just make sure that you are ensuring that you're impacting. So, Sarah, if you had one thing to say to somebody right now that is still thinking and dilly-dallying, should I not, what would you say? How would be the best place to say, okay, you know what, I've had this burden in my heart for a very long time. How do I start, also contributing my voice to the larger picture?
So I'll say to that young person, start where you are. Like, you don't need a perfect plan. Don't wait until you have it figured out. You don't need money. Like, you don't need a huge sum of money to start. So it's like I tell people, my friends, it starts with that burning desire you have, that problem in the community. Just start doing something. Maybe, like for me, I also have desire to ensure that Nigerians stop littering the road with waste. So just start by telling your household people, don't throw your pure water nylon here, put it in the dustbin. So start where you are. You don't need a perfect plan. You start using your voice, start using what you have, your social media platform, start partnering with people. Collaboration is key. Like the summit I mentioned about, the success of that summit was hugely based on the power of collaboration, like various people with similar interests coming together to achieve a goal. So what I would tell that young person is start where you are. You don't need a perfect plan. Just start. Then you get it figured out along the way.
Absolutely. And I think to re-emphasize what Sarah said about government, please support youth initiatives through funding, mentorship, and youth inclusion in your governance structure. That enabling space must be created. You must also prioritize youth-centered policies. Address key things like education, employment, health with urgency that they deserve. You can also promote gender-sensitive and inclusive governance. So you're ensuring that there's diverse youth voices that are represented in areas where decisions are being made. So don't just think as a government parastatal you have a huge role to play. Once you create the environment, right, you give everybody a level playing field to be able to,
Yeah.
to build on. But when the environment is already, skewed towards one direction, then the lady or the young girl or the woman, she's already at a disadvantage. I know that a lot of times people just always say, women, girl, but I understand that. I mean, except you have been a woman and you have lived the life of a woman, you really cannot understand what women have to go through. It's even worse off when the woman is now in a state of poverty. Poverty just completely now amplifies all the things you think you're suffering. Wait until you are poor and you are a woman. Then you now understand, would I call it suffering pro max? So it's very important. Do you have a final thing to say so we can wrap up the conversation?
Okay, what I would say finally is that youth advocacy is just all about showing up for your community. Like I said, using what you have and doing the work, no matter how small it is. Like just do something in your community. So we are all the change that we seek for. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I think I've had an amazing time with you this evening. All right, so Sarah Kukponi's work is a reminder that real change often starts with one person taking a stand. But for change to be sustained, many more must follow. Nigeria's future hinges on how its youth people are empowered, or its young people are empowered to lead, create, and advocate. So youth are not just leaders of tomorrow, they are leaders of the now. They are change makers of today. They are the ones changing the status quo. They are the ones just, helping us, see some form of breather, right? So the time to act is now, and the change begins with all of us. I am doing my part, waking up every day to come here. It is not easy. Even if your part is to share this link to somebody that needs to watch it, you have done your part. But do something. Let's not just be docile. You can't keep complaining the government, and we're not doing anything. I wake up every day, we talk about different issues, not because, we don't have other things to do, but it's because it is something that we truly believe that the more we continue to amplify those voices, the more we continue to push those issues and bring them at the front burners, then that is when things will truly change. So please, don't think anything is too small for you to do, no matter how little it is. What Sarah touched on littering and waste management is something I'm very passionate about. And I've told the people that care to listen, we're going to do different content around it just to help people, sensitize people on the impact of that your one pure water sachet that you're throwing away, right? That your one biscuit nylon that you're throwing away. All of those things, the overall impact, you don't even know it, right? So we have a long way to go, and every voice matter. So let's not don't undermine your voice. Don't say, oh, it's just one like, or it's just one person that viewed it on social media. That one person that viewed it can be the person that you need to be able to change the situation. So don't keep talking. Don't stop. Don't keep saying what needs to be said. Don't stop acting. Just keep doing something. The most important thing is that you're doing something and you are contributing to the larger picture. All right, thank you so much for watching. Before I go, ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is one action you can do. It's very easy. Subscribe to the channel. Go there and like, share, invite your families and friends. Just share the link to your family WhatsApp group. That's all we need. It's not too much to ask. Help us to grow, because the more we grow, the more we have a bigger platform to be able to amplify some of these very pertinent issues that we always talk about on this table. So please join us, share the links, share the links, and interact with our post. Now, if you missed the quote for today, it says, to be an activist is to speak. To be an advocate is to listen. Society can't move forward without both of them. So it means that the more we are speaking and you're listening, there's a time that you would also be needed to speak as well, to say something about it. And that saying something might be in your actions, dropping a comment, doing anything. Advocacy or doing the work today has become a lot easier because we have a lot of platforms that we can use to express, some of the challenges that we face and just, collectively, find solutions to them. So let's not do that act of just sitting on the fence. No, do something tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. live. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.